Have you ever had a day where your pull-ups feel amazing and then in the next session the same weight feels 20 kilos heavier? That's not a strength problem. After working with hundreds of athletes, there are usually three main problems why that's the case. The first thing I look at is the bottom position. So the dead hang. Are we hanging there with rib flare? Are the shoulders packed back and down or in a retracted position? Or do we even create too much lat tension initially? Because creating too much tension or forcing the shoulders back and down, flaring the ribs will have an effect on how our shoulder will move and hence how we can use our muscles. You literally start every rep from a poor position. And the second biggest limiting factor that I see is restricted shoulder mechanics. What does that mean? Usually it has to do with mobility, right? Our ability to reach our arm overhead is highly dependent on how certain structures within the shoulder can move independently from each other. Okay, if we are reaching the arm overhead when we're flaring the ribs, we create a compromised bottom position, as we just talked about for our first big problem, right? But talking about the second biggest issue here, it is all about the sequencing of the joints and the muscles in the right manner. By being limited in our technique, we're probably lifting off with a compromised sequencing and therefore we cannot really accelerate as much out of the bottom position. And that usually comes at a high cost, a lack of force output. And the third biggest limiting factor is fatigue from junk volume. Most street lifters tend to train too much and they tend to train too close to failure. And that has a lot of downsides, okay? If we cannot recover in between the sessions, we cannot progress, right? There is a ratio between stimulus and fatigue. And if the stimulus exceeds a certain threshold, then it will be hard for us to get stronger, right? We're not doing bodybuilding, it's about getting stronger. So if we're creating metabolic fatigue, which happens especially if we train in the higher rep range with too much volume and too close to failure, it will be very hard for us to recover from it. So in that case, all you need to do, drop the volume, drop the intensity, train a little bit smarter. Many athletes think they need more volume, but as soon as you start improving the bottom position, you improve the sequencing and their mobility, whilst ensuring they work with the right amount of volume and the right amount of intensity that they need as an athlete and not what they've seen their favorite lifter do in the internet, then the same athlete suddenly adds 5 to 10 kg to their pulls. And that usually within a couple of weeks. If your weighted pull-ups always feel heavy, then don't add more volume, more intensity. Fix the system and fix how you perform the first rep. Comment your weighted pull-up here in the comments down below. And if you need help with your training because you're stuck, because you've hit another plateau, then reach out for my one-on-one online coaching. The waitlist is in the description down below. And if you haven't done yet, please subscribe, like, and turn the notifications on so you don't miss out on any new video. That's it. See you in the next one.